In shamanism, there is a concept about allowing yourself to be torn down, um, allowing yourself to be dismembered. And the reason for that is that you have to allow things to die so that something new can emerge. And tonight, this is a warning. You're going to bring things to the fire, including yourself. Okay? And so if you have any relationship with fire that feels scary, and some people do, some people have had experiences with fire that are less than memorable. They would rather forget them. And so I wanted to let you know that I'm going to ask you to step into the fire. And the reason for that is fire is one of the greatest transmuters of energy. And when we bring ourselves to the fire, we're willing to transform. We're willing to allow something to die so that something new can emerge. And tonight, because it's also close to All Saints' Day, All Souls' Day, Dia de los Muertos, where the veils are thin, I'm going to actually ask that you bring your ancestors to the fire as well, to see if what we need to do to allow our ancestral lineage to heal. And I always believe that the person in their lifetime carries on their shoulders the weight of all their ancestors. And we're all getting the opportunity to do right by them, to heal past events, to make different choices. And so at this time where the veils are thinnest and we have connection to our ancestors, to our lineage, the best way to do that is to bring it all to the fire and purify it so that something new can emerge. And your willingness to do that is also equally as powerful as just taking on the commitment to bring healing to your lineage. So, so I wanted to give you a heads up about that. Um, and Also, I have a really interesting altar tonight um, that I wanted to share with you all. If you can see your screen, um, down here in the lower right corner is a little bowl. I have, I usually would like to put raisins in there, but I only have cranberries. But this is a representation of the ancestors. So when you, when I set up the altar, everybody that's going to be here is engaged with it. So this is your ancestors right here on this altar. Um, there are other objects on here. I have some hematite for circulation. These two objects here, one is a multifaceted crystal wand that was given to me by one of my teachers, as well as this disc right here. This disc is made out of serpentine, and it was actually quarried on Machu Picchu, which is where I was given it as a gift by my teacher. Um, this mountain here is a piece of rock that came from an altar, an Incan altar in Peru. And up here I have a piece of meteorite to bring in the cosmos, uh, because although our relationship to one another as human beings is established here on this planet, most of us don't actually come from here. So in order to really acknowledge uh, our lineage has to stretch back through time and space beyond Earth into the stars, where many of our souls have their origins in different galaxies or even different universes. So this is an acknowledgement of that. And this piece of jewelry is actually stone quarried out area around the Amazon. So this thing actually represents the Amazon River to me. Um, So the cloth that this is sitting on is part of my what's called a mesa, which is part of my Peruvian shamanic lineage. All the work that I've done goes into different stones that I have. The stones themselves aren't on the altar. They're called cuyas. They're stones that you do work with from the Peruvian shamanistic tradition. I didn't put them on the altar. I was instructed to just put these things on the altar. So um, this fire in the middle represents where we're bringing things tonight. We're bringing it to the fire, which is how we're going to transmute it. So um, I'd like to invite you all for a moment to take out a piece of paper and a pen, and hopefully you have something close by. I just want you to jot down the names of the immediate ancestors. That could be, they don't have to necessarily be deceased, but anybody in your family that you have a connection with, somebody that comes to mind that would be someone you might want to bring to the fire with you for transformation. And so just take a moment, as I'd like to do that as well, really quick. Um, you can make that list however you like to. If you want to just include family last names, that's fine. Even if you don't know somebody's name, sometimes we don't know all of our ancestors, but we know where they come from. So you might want to put in a geographical location, a country, whatever comes to mind for you. And write down their actual names. Yes. Mel just asked me if they had to be biological family. And yes, this is your lineage. Go ahead and close your eyes. Start to follow the breath into the body. Now is your opportunity to let go, to relax, to disconnect from everything that's going on in the world, to do some work, to do some purification. So follow your breath into the body. Start to notice the quality of the breath. Let it be relaxed and let it be smooth. And when you're ready, imagine a grounding cord coming right out of the tailbone of your spine, extending down into Mother Earth. Allow it to reach down, down, down toward the center of the earth, passing through the many layers of soil, sediment, dirt, down through the rock and granite layers, reaching down past the underground rivers and streams, beyond the underground caverns and underground lakes, reaching toward the center of the earth, reaching down, down, down. And when it reaches the center of the earth, allow those roots, that cord, that connection to attach to something. Checking the integrity of that cord, following it back up to your spine, making sure that it is solid, dependable. And then allow your belly to drop down into Mother Earth. Allow your belly to drop down into the belly of Mother Earth. And feel your connection to her. Feel the connection to her timelessness. Imagine the epochs that have gone by. The single-celled organism bifurcating, creating all multi-cell organisms that have become all of the life that exists on this planet. The maturity of different species, the extinction of different species, the cosmic cataclysms, the impacts of meteors, swallowing up of the earth in water, swallowing up of the earth in fire. All these epochs that eventually bore humanity in the form that we know it as now. Feel the history of the different forms in which humans have existed. The trials and tribulations of animal man and Cro-Magnon, Neanderthal, Homo sapiens sapiens, and each of the evolutionary leaps that were required. And within you, this ancient lineage that gave you the body, form, the brain, its usage, for you to be who you are now. With your belly in the belly of Mother Earth, you have established a connection to that lineage. How ancient it is. And as you inhale, breathe that back up into your heart center from the belly of Mother Earth. And as you exhale, appreciate the vastness of this history that made you who you are. Breathe in the awareness of your genealogy, of your genetics, of your cultural and ethnic history. And when you're ready, bring your attention up to the center of your head. Start to breathe through the center of the head. And you are the tree of life. You are your lineage. Allow the branches of your tree-like self to reach up into the cosmos, up into the fabric of creation. weaving into the tapestry of creation, stretching in all directions, up and out, connecting in with the memory, the Akashic memory, the morphogenetic field, and the morphic field itself that contains the storylines of our past and the storylines of our ancestors, weaving in, around, and through each of those stories of your parents and grandparents and their parents and their parents and their parents, stretching back into time infinite. And as you inhale, start to breathe those stories back down into your heart center. From the cosmic history, the galactic history of our soul's journey through different dimensions. Breathe. Breathe it in. Pull it into your heart. Now I'd like for you to imagine a path at night. Going through the forest. It's dark. You can see the shapes of the trees slightly illuminated by a light from ahead of you. You may very faintly hear some drumming or some sound off in the distance. The murmur of a few people talking. And as you continue to walk along this path, you get closer and notice a large violet radiance coming from an opening in the forest. And the path twists and turns, and eventually you make your way to a clearing in the forest. And there you see before you a large violet fire burning high up into the sky. Like a large bonfire. And standing around the fire are familiar faces, family members, people from your lineage. They may be people that you know and recognize, and they may be people that have crossed over and people that are still alive. And here they all are. And they're talking to one another. They're sharing their stories, their trials, their woes, their hardships, their challenges. You hear crying, exasperation, apologies, anger, rage, victimhood. Uncertainty, inability. There are stories of people taking advantage of each other, and stories of forgetfulness. But you also hear laughter. And happiness, stories of joy, of camaraderie, of helping, of assistance, of support. These are all of the things that our ancestral lineages have had to confront. And much of it has been suffering and a burden. And so with great intent, we decide that it's time to bring these things to the fire. It's time to transmute them. And to do so, one of the greatest gifts that we have is to step into the fire itself and allow something else to burn away so that something new can emerge. And so you take command of this large group of ancestors, and in your most compassionate, loving, yet stern voice, you request that everybody hold hands and create a large circle. Some people may be defiant, others will gladly go along. And if those that are scared or unwilling reveal themselves, you open your heart and you project to them all of your love for the challenges that they are facing. And you assure them that this will be miraculous. And when you finally have everybody's hands held, you call out to your spirit helpers, you call out to your angelic support team, you call out to your guardian angels, you call out to Source, and you invite them to etherically connect with your circle, to help those that are afraid, to help those that are uncertain. Bring it to the fire. All of those stories, bring them to the fire. And now, start to walk toward the fire with your circle. This beautiful, large, violet bonfire. And it actually doesn't really feel hot. It actually feels rather cool. Kind of like you opened up your freezer door and you get that first feeling of cold air. And it feels crisp and fresh. And you step into the midst of the violet bonfire. And it feels like you're being stripped away. And as your ancestors step into the fire, you see them around you, and their physical forms are slowly burning away, beginning with their clothes, their skin, their muscles, hair, tendons. You see now around you the ancestors in your lineage as skeletons, all their stories burning away. And if you look up into the violet bonfire, you can see beautiful little sparks of golden light creating a vortex of energy as all of those stories are now disintegrating, allowing all of your ancestors to be renewed, including yourself. And the fire is so cold and so powerful that the skeletal remains are also turning into golden sparkles, disappearing into the ether in that vortical energy above this bonfire. Everybody and all of their stories being transmuted into this beautiful vortex of energy. And since energy is never destroyed, it only changes form. Those sparkles now become new forms. They are the forms of the ancestors re-emerging around you. Except now they are more like purified golden halos of light. Even your own body is like a great body of light. The violet flame is now getting quieter. And the collective aura of your ancestral lineage, made of this golden light, is now radiating even brighter than that violet flame was. A beautiful, purified radiance of golden light, purified of every story, purified of every action. And this radiance grows so large that you know that it's starting to affect every other lineage of every other person that you know. And you can see the entire planet Earth and the Earth grid glowing with this radiant light as it weaves itself through time and space to every epoch, every era of humanity, transforming history because truly there's no such thing as time and space. There's only an infinite now. And that infinite now is being purified, changing the fabric of time itself, upgrading, up-leveling points in history to a higher vibration, a higher frequency of love and compassion, of joy, of gratitude. An awakening for all of humanity is taking place, stretching forward and backward through time and space. This is how humanity evolves, by purifying the now, which purifies all time and space, which purifies all that was and all that will ever be. Our collective consciousness is being purified now. Different decisions will be made different actions will be taken by humanity because of this work. So it is.